put y'all right there for a second. Bluetooth. This end right here, I'll wire in circuit to the battery. Battery will be reinstalled, and then this will have that in circuit. And I want to test that. Let me start snipping some stuff and testing some stuff. That's what I need to do. Let's make sure we're getting the power that we want before we go tearing into this thing. Because basically, I've got 3 of these batteries. One's in it, and I have 2 outside of it. I want to get one charging up. That way I know it's going to work. And then I can just drop it in, and I know that I can externally charge it again. So that's what we're going for. I want to. So yeah, I'm just going to cut into it as is. What do I want to use to connect this is the question. In all honesty, I'll splice and tape that shit. I don't think I have any issue with that at all. I don't see another proper way to tap in, and I don't want to just tap into one single wire. They're all going to a single rail here anyway. They probably just use individual wires because it's cheaper to manufacture and easier to fit where it needs to fit. So we're gonna chop these. I'm gonna go on this end just because this seems like the way to go. You know how tight electrical tape gets if you wrap it around your finger a couple of times and you're not even trying to wrap it that tight? I use that same concept with taping up my wires. I'll get them twisted as tight as I can humanly twist them with my fingertips, but then I'll wrap them with tape and I'll pull the tape tightly as I'm wrapping it around, and I'll make sure I get some good layers. Like on that, I just got one to hold it. Now I'll get a longer piece of tape and kind of overdo it because it's choking that connection together. I know it sounds ghetto or what the hell ever, but I've been doing this for a long time, and you won't have a connection just magically coming loose when you use plenty of tape on it. Like a roll of tape, even now, let's say you overpay and you're getting like $4 or $5 rolls of tape. How many things can you over tape that you're fixing before you run out? You might as well just go ahead and overdo it. That is so tight, there is not something just pulling that loose. That's a good solid connection. The wires are all together. I'm gonna roll out with that. Okay, Google, turn on the blower in my shop for 30 seconds and then turn it off.
Turning on shop fan for blower for 30 seconds.
Pop the cork. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's what we got. So I want to check charging this little guy while I'm at it. I hope there's enough slack in the cable for it to actually plug in still. I might have to lengthen that. It is what it is. Let me get this charger. I'm gonna use this. I want to test my battery now, see what it's reading, and then attempt giving it a bit of a charge while we tear this apart. That's the whole idea here. 6.9. I'm gonna start slinging some juice to this thing. Looks like its little BMS turned it off to prevent the cell from going too low or whatever. I'm not sure how low it's supposed to go on here, but I figure around 7.4 is where it should think it's dead. And now it's just kind of slowly been going even more dead over time. So we just want to make sure. Yeah, we're almost 7 volts. And now we'll put the charger on this bad boy and see how it acts. 7.18. Alright, it's slowly charging like it's supposed to. I'm going to move this whole setup to the side. Then we'll start tearing this apart. I'm going to go ahead and start a new clip though. So whenever I went to grab me another soda real quick, I went ahead and took this battery, I put it in a Ziploc, and I stuck it in the freezer in there just for a minute, literally 1 minute, and now it's back down to room temperature. It was hot as hell. I can put this back on the charger now. Shit. Old battery's out. Holy crap. Let's check the charging on our new battery. See what it's looking like. 7.25, 7.27. So she's getting up there. She's charging. I think we got to pull the whole board out to do our fitting the way we want to do it. So I got to make a hole for that power. So I'm unplugging more ribbon cables. Motherboard extracted. Damn. Too bad this thing wouldn't charge that damn battery. That's going to be the question, is how do I get it through this housing? Right on the side. I think that's it. I'm not spending forever on that. There's too much circuitry in that. So we go below the port to the right. There's an empty spot here. I'm gonna use that, and it'll still be off of the ridge where it'll sit down properly. But that's what we need. So I need to make that wire run through there before I really do anything else. Shit. Alright, let's just go ahead and cut you off again. That's probably plenty. Surely, that's plenty. The worst part is going to be trying to edit all this video down. I surely can't just upload it because it's going to be a couple of hours. Just me talking to myself and turning screws out here in the shed. Nice sanity test. Those aren't touching. Yep. The plug to my charger sucks. So you gotta wiggle it and get a good connection. Now this thing's charging while we work on it. Input voltage error. All I did was barely move the damn wire. Shit. Okay, that says the battery's in the red, which it is, but that battery was dead as hell. Well, it's letting it take 0.9 amp now. 8.4 volts, 0.9 amps. That should charge faster. I'm tempted to take a break on this just so I can guarantee the battery's charging before I put it the rest of the way back together. Well, I went ahead and chopped that cable out. it was my limiting little factor here trying to charge this bad boy. It was keeping me at like 0.6 amps or some shit. So I got a thick ass cable that came from a laptop and I hooked it directly to here. It had like a squid end and I connected to one of those ends, and then it had a big old ball of taped up connectors. There was resistance and all of that. So this thick cable goes to a nice thick cable. This is like 16 gauge, the core, or bigger. Like it's beefy like we want it to be. And then this is equally thick. Hook this cable directly to another equally thick cable that goes straight to a 12 volt 4 amp charger. So we went up from the 3 point whatever that's 20 years old to a newer 4 amp charger. All thick, nice cable and shit. Before you could wiggle this around and it would shut off. Now I can even spin the barrel jack a little bit and it won't shut off because I cleaned the terminal in there and got this new cable. So all good new connections, and it's plugged straight into the barrel jack here. Oh yeah, 8.3. What? At 8.4 volts, it'll start dropping the amperage and taper off and fill up the capacity. This battery at 1200 milliamps would take 12 hours to fill up at 1 amp. It would take 6 hours at 2 amps. So we're probably 4 hours-ish at 2.7 amps, maybe, to completely fill it. I just want to get a good bit of juice into the battery, so when I turn it on, I want to physically see the power meter on the bottom of this thing fill up a little bit. You see this timeline here. We've already got 2 hours worth of footage that I've got to cut down. That's fine. Battery's still charging at 1.6 amps. I'm gonna go ahead and put this the rest of the way back together real quick. If it breaks connection while I'm doing this, oh well, it'll be fine. The charger seems to work pretty good though. Let's take you right here. Three dots of charge. I can hook it up to my phone. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that since I got a thing here. Let's shove that back. Just put y'all right there for a second. Bluetooth. Yep, it works. Is fixed. I'm gonna go ahead and unpair from it. Or I could just leave it connected for now for testing purposes and just turn it off. Sweet. I'm gonna put it back on this charger here, and I sent the owner a link, so all you gotta do is plug in right here. A little hard for me to do one-handed, I guess. So you got your plug plugged in. Alright, I got my charger back on it. We're pumping 2.2 amps to it. I'm gonna let it completely charge. Well, that thing's freaking done. I fixed it, damn it. Got one last clip for the end of the video here. It was about 2 hours and 40-ish minutes worth of video clips and whatnot that I had to edit down. Charger just said that the battery's completely full. The only reason why it shows 3000 milliamp here is because I've unplugged it and plugged it back in a bunch of times. Had I left that on, it would show the whole capacity of the battery, which I could have figured out what the capacity actually is. But let me turn the flash back off. Should see the lights. Yep, completely full. That's what's up. So this thing's ready for pickup. Hell yeah. Just me talking to myself and turning screws out here in the shed.